Russia isn't bluffing. I hope the people watching right now are getting cold sweats right now, because the world's over at this point, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, it's over. It's game, set, match. It's done. Whatever plans you had for the summer, they're canceled. Whatever Christmas plans you had, forget about it. So get scared, start calling people and saying, what the hell are you doing, Tony Blinken? Biden, get on the phone to Macron and tell him to shut up and sit down. The same thing with the polls, because this is it. Russia's getting ready to exercise the use of tactical nuclear weapons in the southern military district. Okay, that means that if NATO troops are deployed, because the Ukrainian army is collapsing as we speak, and Macron has said it's his red line. And if they collapse, I have no choice, he says, but to send French troops in. Well, the Russians will kill them, but then they're going to nuke France. So there we are. This is about as serious as it gets, and yet we are sleepwalking. We are sound asleep. Nobody in America cares. Nobody. It's nuclear war. If this is what you want, West, you're going to get it. Putin doesn't bluff. This ain't a game. This isn't a joke. This is life and death for Russia. They've made that clear from the very beginning. And so now we have a situation where NATO tried to call us bluff. The United States poured hundreds of billions of dollars worth of weaponry and money and such into the Ukrainian military. Russia had a plan. They ground it out. All this nonsense you hear in the West, Russia's suffering 1,000 dead. The number of Russian losses right now on the battlefield are the lowest they've been since the war started. That's how unbalanced this is right now. Russia is dominating the front line. They are devastating the Ukrainians. It was 800 Ukrainian dead a week ago. It was 1,000 earlier. It's up to 1,500 a dead. They're just being slaughtered. They're being annihilated, and there's nothing to replace them. So they are literally collapsing. NATO's in a panic. Macron's talking about sending troops. Poland's talking about sending troops. And Russia's saying, I don't know how many times we have to tell you, if NATO troops show up on Ukrainian soil, we're going to nuke you. We're going to nuke you. Okay, we're going to take you out, not your troops in Ukraine. We're going to nuke the decision-making centers. I think we need to understand one fundamental truth here, that this conflict is seen by Russia as an existential conflict, that there is no tie, there is no defeat, there is only victory. And they have put together a plan to achieve that victory, and they're on the cusp of that happening right now. As we speak, the Ukrainian army is disintegrating at the front. This is sending waves of panic through NATO, et cetera. And this is why you see Emmanuel Macron talking about the need to send French troops if the Ukrainian line collapses. Well, it's collapsing right now. David Cameron making similar statements. Russia has a plan. They have mobilized the troops. They have trained the troops. They have the military, conventional military, to achieve this objective. As I was told by a general earlier this year, major changes on the map in May and probably game over by the end of the summer. And that's the trajectory they're on. The problem is you have the West saying insane things, such as if the Ukrainian line collapses, NATO troops will intervene. This is why Vladimir Putin now has ordered the southern military district. People, please just open your eyes and your ears and listen to what I'm saying. The southern military district to carry out training for the employment of tactical nuclear weapons. This doesn't mean that they're going to use nuclear weapons in Ukraine. They're not. They're going to blow the hell out of NATO forces in Romania, Poland, Germany, France, Italy. It's nuclear war.
Shalom, shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give out praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Shimi, Hawashai, Shimi, Kakodash. I want to give double honors to the elders and the apostles, the great millstone and Ruel. Blessings and salutations to the whole elect. Knows in this gospel, brother, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Shimi, Hawashai, wherever it may be. It's just a quick lesson through the spirit. And that's the spirit, man. You can teach ratchet ass bitches out here, man. That's why I hate niggas. Every time we fucking move somewhere quiet, there's always a bunch of grimy ass niggas that want to move up here. Some black redhead bitch, about 85 pounds, talking shit to somebody. Take your ass out south with that. Pretty sure y'all can hear it in the background. Disrespecting grown-ups and shit, man. This is why you niggas gotta die. All right, in this war, It's going to be the war that's going to do that. It's going to wipe out 2/3 of you niggas over here. You know what? Because the Lord is sick of this shit. Every time we, Jake goes somewhere, there's always motherfuckers always lowering the property values, all types of shit, man. But through the spirit, going into this World War III scenario, basically this guy has said Russia is not bluffing. NATO was in panic. Russia made a choice for victory because we've been straight up telling you that these motherfucking Russians, man, these Russian Edomites, they're not gonna play games with you Americans because they know that America is behind the bullshit, or the West is behind the fucking bullshit that goes on in the Middle East and in Ukraine. Okay, one main reason why America was one main reason why damn, I lost my train of thought because they're distracting. But one reason why Ukraine was invaded by the Western forces is because, for one thing, they found out that there were what you would call bioweapons, biolabs over there in the Ukraine. And basically America or the West used NATO as a front to surround the Ukrainian borders to pretty much keep Russia on edge, so to speak, to surround their borders, because we know that Ukraine is part of Russia. At the end of the day, they're the same people, So with that being said, that was a strategic war move to kind of encapsulate them or enclose them in on their borders, but that's not working too good because we know through the spirit that the Russians, man, that they're a whole different beast, and they're not going to play games with the West, man, because for one thing, the West, they don't have enough firepower or enough nuclear artillery to even compete with Russia's nuclear forces, man. So with that being said, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shimi Hawashai, man, hey, this shit is getting ready to go down, man, because, hey, Russia already know that America is behind the tyranny in the West, man. I mean, in the East. And I would say East because, we've been using that term Middle East affectionately, but there's no such thing as Middle East. So it's safe to say that these nations are getting ready to go to war with the whore, and that America's allies are going to come against them. Because through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shimi Hawashai, man, this is the Lord's determination, So with that being said, I got a couple of precepts here, okay? Because we understand. See, she talking to grown ass. That's a grown ass man. This little girl is probably like 16 years old. Now, if he wouldn't over there and slapped the fuck out of her ass, then her father or whoever, some niggas would have got involved. They would have killed dude, all because she's disrespectful. But anyway, Salakia, man, this shit is distracting me. I'm outside trying to get some air. But anyway, this is the book of Jeremiah 51, and I'm gonna start at verses 1, and it reads. It says, "Thus says the Lord, behold, I will rise up against Babylon, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind." And we know that that wind is talking about the destruction, the nuclear destruction. Because as this guy mentioned, and I can't really vouch for it because he mentioned that the summertime, by the end of summer, this can very well go down. But only Yahweh Shemi Hawashai knows when this nuclear war is going to take place. Okay, while it is inevitable and while it is biblical, we understand that the Most High's plan is to destroy America. Okay, and this war will take place eventually, but first the MOTB has to be established, man. Okay, so with that being said, hey, certain prophecies have to come to pass first. Okay, they're not just going to attack the West in their own zone, just off GP, though there may be ground war and proxy wars going on and, hot wars and boots on the ground. This thing will get nuclear at the last minute when Yahweh Shai decides to come and come back to this felling planet, so to speak. All right. Anyway, it says, and I will send it to Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land, and the land in her is talking about the great whore, America. Okay. And it says here, empty her land, for in the day of trouble they should be against her round about. Okay, because all these nations, including America's allies, are going to pretty much circumvent them. Okay, and they're going to be responsible for the destruction of America, Babylon the Great. You see, because if you look in the news, you can clearly see that America's allies are not vibing with them to a full extent, because they understand that they're causing how can I say it? They're causing turmoil among their allies, because now the economies are in trouble due to the indiscrepancies of America, or the indiscretions of America, setting up military bases over no-fly zones and, just doing a bunch of madness you know. And it says here, and against him that bendeth the bow, let the archer bend. It says, let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifteth himself up in his brigade, and spare ye not our young men, and destroy ye all her hosts, right? Because for the simple fact, you know, the young men, the men of war, which pretty much America don't have that fighting power, because all the men of war, they're pretty much you know who. You know, these men are, they're how can I say it? They're basically not bred for war, if that make any sense. And it says, and thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, which the Chaldeans are basically the modern day elites, you know, from your congressmen to your high level luminaries to your lower level luminaries, you know. And it'll be, man, I guarantee you, in Salakia, brothers, I'm off, because this little girl, she called the cops. She got 2 Edomite cops here. Now, I guarantee she ain't gonna jump tough with the Edomite cops, because they'll blow our little funky ass away, which honestly speaking, hey, I wouldn't even feel bad. Though that sounds crazy, but our people are wicked, man. They need to be stopped. But anyway, getting back to the point, it says, and a slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that thrust through her in the streets. Okay, it says, for Israel have not been forsaken, nor Judah of his power. For the Lord of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel, because this whole war and the whole understanding of the prophecies is circumvented around our people. Okay, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. Our people, we're the ones that's in disarray. You know what I'm saying? So through the spirit, hey, the Lord he's basically delivering us. He's getting ready to deliver us. And it says here, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul, and be not cut off in their iniquity. For this is the time of the Lord's vengeance, and he will it says he will render unto her a recompense. Okay, and what does recompense mean? Recompense simply means to pay back. Okay, because like I said, man, America, they're piping down an alley that they can't get themselves out of, because the Russians are on to them. Like this whole helicopter crash, or this airplane crash of I believe it was like the Iranian, like a prime minister, or like one of their high up level officials. They find out that the West possibly had something to do with that. And we understand how Esau gets down when it comes to false flag attacks. So right there, it got the Iranians on guard, and we know that the Iranians are gonna pretty much back up the Russians, because that's biblical prophecy, you know. But it says, for Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken, and the nations that have drunken our wine, therefore the nations are mad. Okay, because like I said, the economies and the nations, or the world's economies, are failing due to this weakening dollar, you know. And it reads, and it says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Okay, because we understand that this place is going to get nuked by thermonuclear missiles. And it says here, how for her take balm for our pain, if so she may be healed. Okay, because all these bailouts and these stimulus packages that they're passing, eventually it's just going to add to the deficit. But long story short, we know that Russia, China, and America's allies are going to be the main contributing fact to America being destroyed. Okay, thus says the Lord. So go down to verses 10. It says, for the Lord hath brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord Yahweh, because we're declaring the works of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, man. Okay, and it says here, make bright the arrows, which the arrows of the missiles. And the Lord have raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. Okay, you got the Russians, the Persians, and the Russians. Okay, the Persians and the Medes, which the Medes are going into, I believe, the Russians, man. And it says, for his device is against Babylon to destroy, because it is the vengeance of the Lord and the vengeance of his temple. And the temple of the Lord is the Israelites, man, the so-called Negro, Hispanic, and Native American. It says, set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon, make the watch strong, and set up watchmen, and prepare the ambushes, right? Because we're seeing that all these allies are coming against this place, you know, and all the potholes are being set up for America to crash and burn, man. Because like I said, when a global economic collapse comes, then eventually it's just going to be the end of this place, man, because nations are going to retaliate against this place because of the poor rulership. And it says here, set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon, make the watch strong, set up the watchmen, prepare the ambushes, for the Lord have both devised and done that which he spoke against the inhabitants of Babylon, man. Okay, so there we go. It says the Medes, man. All right, I'm one more precept and I end it. Kind of distracted right now, so Salaki, I was all over the place. But this is the book of Revelation 6 and 12, and this is basically going into World War III. And it says, and I beheld when he had opened when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, going into your solar and lunar eclipses. Okay, like we just had a solar eclipse, I believe it was like April 8th, okay, roughly about a month and almost a half ago. And it says here, and the stars of heaven fell into the earth, even as a fig tree casts her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places, which is talking about these governments, man. Okay, and literally the scriptures say when Yahweh Shai comes back, the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard. Okay, so if you understand how a drunk person is or a staggering person is, then you understand that the earth is going to be rocked off its axis, so to speak. And it says, and the kings of the earth, and the great men and rich men and chief captains, and mighty men and every bondman and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, man, because they're going to retreat due to this nuclear destruction, man. Okay. So anyway, with that, brothers, man, Salakia, man, I was a little distracted, but giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai. Lord's will, you will edify. Until the next lesson, Shalom.